Hello guys and gals and non-binary pals, it's me, O.C.C.B, and let's just get this out of the way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, you know, I am kind of late on that. You're either brand new to the series, or you just don't check Splatoon, TikTok, and Twitter. Thank God if you don't do that, because holy fuck. There has been a major, and I mean major war between two sides of the Splatoon community. People who use gyro motion controls, or people who play with average thumbsticks, like how you would with every other shooter. And there's one thing I need to say between both the stick players and the motion players. Just shut up! Stick players, stop being delusional and face the facts that, unfortunately in this game, motion is statistically better. Motion players, stop acting like a cult. Most of the people who play motion are people who play competitively, and for a community that wants to be a lot more mainstream, anytime a new content creator joins Splatoon and they don't play motion and they don't play how you want them to play, y'all start to harass them, which is kind of funny to me because Splatoon is the only console shooter that has good motion controls. Meaning, if the only shooter you play is Splatoon, and you were to go to play any other console shooter, a good 70% of your skills wouldn't carry over compared to a stick player. And the stick people aren't perfect either, I'll get to that. But you guys are probably wondering what side I'm on. Am I a stick player or am I a motion player? Well, the answer is, and I've said it before, mouse and keyboard. Alright, I have to be honest. If you haven't noticed, I do play majority sticks. Just look at my content. But that doesn't mean that I don't play motion. That doesn't mean that I don't like motion. I actually do like motion and all the perks that it has. However, we need to address something. Earlier, I said that stick controls aren't better than motion. In the case of Splatoon, but why is that the case? Well, it's actually very simple. Sticks isn't worse than motion because they're just naturally bad. Sticks are worse than motion because they're underdeveloped. If you haven't noticed it yet, Nintendo puts a lot more focus when it comes to motion controls and how the game works around that than how it does around sticks. I would say it's not as 50-50 as people make it out to be. Unfortunately, I would say it's more of a 80-20 between the focus between motion and sticks. I mean, think about it. When Splatoon 3 came out, loads of people were talking about how motion controls were actually improved from 2 to 3. But in Stick's case, the controls are the same. Literally no change. And the game itself literally forces you to use motion to complete the tutorial before you can even go to stick. And this has been the case in every Splatoon game. So, how should this be fixed? Because at the end of the day, sticks and motion should be both equal, because at the end of the day, that's just how you turn around. This shouldn't be such a heated debate. Well, there's actually a lot of solutions that could fix this, at least on the stick side. Motion is good for now, but for sticks, there are a lot of improvements in how to fix it. But before I go any further, there is one thing I need to say. Aim assist is not the solution you think it is, and this is coming from somebody who has a decade worth of experience playing other console shooters, such as Halo, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Garden Warfare. Aim assist genuinely wouldn't really work on 90% of the weapons of the game, so just saying add aim assist wouldn't fix the issue. So if I'm gonna fix the issue, I'm going to compare Splatoon stick controls to another shooter, Apex Legends. Wait, do not click off the video because I compared Splatoon to another shooter, please. Wait, no, I see you leaving, don't do that. Most shooters have settings you can, adjust to make your gameplay a lot better. The biggest example of this is normally sensitivity. However, in Apex mainly, there are loads of other options you can change for your stick controls. And before you say, oh, what about motion controls? Well, Apex, Fortnite, Doom, even Portal 1 and 2, they all have motion controls. However, I have to say they're not really good. Splatoon is probably the only game that actually has good motion, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I'm not the only one saying this, a lot of motion players say this as well. Anyways, back on topic. Better sensitivity, stick acceleration, in-game dead zone. Nintendo, why does the Switch console have dead zone itself but not the game itself? Probably the most effective option would be a response curve setting, which Apex is probably one of the only shooters I see genuinely have a response curve setting. But Splatoon also has that for motion, because response curve works differently for motion than it does for sticks. Honestly, if sticks had the same response curve as motion, that would fix a good chunk of the issues that stick has now. But I have to be realistic, and let's be honest. Nintendo isn't going to improve stick controls anytime soon. They've kept it the same for the past 8 years. God, Splatoon has been out for that long? So while you can't update your controls through the game, that doesn't mean you can't update how you play. Here's some tips that could work. I don't really see stick players use this a lot, but stick players, use the X button. This allows you to reset your camera to its neutral state. However, the camera will also face where your character is facing when resetting. Because of this, you can make useful U-turns and could save time turning around. And this is faster than just turning around normally. It does take some practice, so don't feel bad if you don't do it right the first time. I know that this is second nature to motion players already, but I don't really see much stick players do this, and I feel like this would just help a lot. Now, these next couple options aren't as viable, and they are kind of pricey, but these are just suggestions. You don't have to do these. Things that genuinely help is adding stuff like control freaks to your controllers, if you know what those are. And if you play Xbox or PlayStation, just connect your Xbox or PlayStation controller to your Switch. Yeah, that's possible. I don't do this every time I get on Splatoon because of the hassle to go through to do it, but sometimes I connect my Xbox controller to my Switch, and honestly, it felt weird at first, but then it felt a lot more natural than just using a Pro controller. The only issue is that since the Xbox B and A buttons are different than Nintendo's, that gets confusing, but other than that, it feels really good. To make this work, you need a dongle, which will allow you to convert Xbox and PlayStation controllers so the Switch will make it seem like it's a Pro controller. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon, and maybe you can get them at your local game store, but honestly, it's really just a plug and play. There are wireless and wired ones, so just pick your poison. And fun fact, PlayStation controllers are actually capable of using motion controls, but they're not really good.
Objection!
But O.C., why are you giving tips for stick players when motions are statistically better in every single way? Okay, by that logic, why use the big swig when it's outclassed by every other pre-existing roller? Why use a snipe rider when it's just a bamboozler with extra steps? Then why use the Splattershot Nova when it's just an aerospace with an identity crisis? Oh wait, because people actually like these weapons and they like to make use out of them no matter what handicaps they are given. You wanna know the most annoying part about this debate? It's the fact that Splatoon is a competitive shooter. Let me explain. Compared to its competitive and team-based nature, Splatoon is often compared to Overwatch or Valorant, or even CSGO in some cases. And you wanna know what they do? They argue over stuff like, what weapons are good, what characters are good, what maps are good. You wanna know what we argue? We're arguing over, do we turn our character around like this, or do we turn our character around like this? For those that are new to the series, this argument isn't new. It's just only gotten worse since the new game came out. Yeah, this argument has been going on for the last 8 years. Oh. And here's what happened since then. Competitive players being denied teams or being kicked off teams for using sticks, motion players bothering content players who are picking sticks, stick players staying stick players out of spite because of all the slander they've been given, and so much more. Which is why I switched to mouse and keyboard. Let's go, baby. All in all, both sides have their pros and cons. Stick controls are a lot more beginner friendly and shooter friendly, meaning if you were to go to any other console shooter, your skills will most likely stay the same. And plus, you have an easier time maintaining a steadier aim since you don't need to use your entire hand every second of the day. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give this to motion. It is a lot easier to track moving targets with motion than it does with sticks, provided you have the skills to do so, due to Nintendo's lack of stick care. And again, aim assist wouldn't fix the problem. However, motion controls have more versatility. You can jump, shoot, and aim at the same time without letting go of the stick. Your sensitivity is actually good, and you have a good response curve. But like I said, at the end of the day, just play what you want to play. Because most of the time, if you die in Splatoon, your first thought isn't, oh, that person is using stick controls, or that person is using motion controls. And besides motion players, I have a personal question. If stick controls are that bad, why are you telling people to switch to motion? You could use this to your advantage to get better. What are you doing? For a community that shows me it does not give a flying about the new players, you sure love to be extremely helpful. Again, these are just my thoughts on it. Obviously, not every stick player's like this or every motion player's like this, obviously. If you came to this video expecting motion tips, unfortunately, I can't really do that, but there are other people who are a lot more skilled in teaching that than I ever am, so check them out if you really want to know about that. Anyways, my name is O.C. Have a good one, and drink some water. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and get me to 1K. I get to go to a nice restaurant to celebrate. Okay, bye.